Hello everyone. Biology is a really exciting field of science that is always changing as new finds are made every day, and I would like to talk about one of my favorite subjects, taxonomy. As organisms are discovered and existing ones studied, our system of classifying and naming them must try to keep up with the ever-growing list of new life. Taxonomy is defined as the biological science of naming and classifying organisms. Not everyone may use the same name for an animal or plant you do. For example, here in Texas, we have small mammals that like to live on the banks of rivers, commonly called nutrients. Some people call them river rats, koi poos, or even some kind of weird beaver. While these may be common to Texans, explaining what this is to someone from another place may be very difficult. This is where taxonomy comes in handy. This system helps us tell things apart by a scientific name and sort them into the groups that they belong to. The scientific name for our nutria is Myocastor coipus. So what system do we use and how did it begin? For a long time in human history, it was very hard to give a solid definition for living things. There was no standard system of telling apart the diversity of life in the world. It wasn't until the 1730s that a man named Carl Linnaeus had an idea to create a new way of labeling organisms known as binomial nomenclature. This literally means two-name naming system. The language it's written in is Latin and is always used to label a certain species. Species is the most specific you can be. So as we see here are some traits of binomial nomenclature. If we can think of all life on the earth as a giant tree, then a species would be the very end point of a branch, like a leaf on a tree. Okay, when writing a name in binomial nomenclature, the scientific name, you should always start with the genus, so we're going to use humans for this example. And you're going to start by writing the genus, which is Homo, H-O-M-O. And when you write the genus, you can choose to underline it, or you may also choose to italicize it, which is kind of hard to do when you're writing, but you're never going to do both. So you do one or the other. And when you're writing the species name, the entire species, you're going to write the genus, so this example is Homo, followed by the species name, which is going to be Sapiens. And that is also going to be underlined. And you're never going to capitalize the first letter in this. You're always going to leave this lowercase. So we have a capital letter here on the genus, and then we have a lowercase letter here on the species. And you can choose to italicize this one too. But for this purpose, we're just going to leave it underlined because it's easier to read. So, in our large family tree, where does our nutria fit? To know this, we need to look at the bigger picture. Everything in the living world can be placed into larger groups depending on their characteristics. For example, the nutria is in the domain Eukarya, cells with a nucleus, kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Rodentia, family Myocastoridae, genus Myocastor, and species Coipus. The domain is the largest group and is always the first one you start with when you're classifying an organism. There are three domains that are important in biology: Eukarya, Archaebacteria, and Eubacteria. From there, you can divide these groups into smaller and smaller groups until you arrive at the species. The order of taxonomic groups goes like this: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. An easy way to help you remember this is to memorize the line, Danish kings play chess on fuzzy green sheep. Every living thing on Earth can be placed into this taxonomic system, even you. Even now, with genetic testing, we can reorganize groups by comparing how similar their genes are.